All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, March the 8th, 2022. Jersey Johnny coming at you with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. How are you this evening, Mr. Samurai?
I'm good. I've got Samoas.
You've got what?
I've got Samoas.
Samoas. Very nice. Very nice. That's always good.
I got some more Samoas.
Always got you got some more Samoas. Some more Samoas. There you go. S''M''O''R'E.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, s'more Samoas?
Ooh.
That would be interesting.
I may have started
S'mores made with Samoas.
That might work.
We gotta work on that.
We gotta work
check
on
that
that
out. We'll have to try that. So anyway, how are you? How are you on this fine Tuesday evening?
On this fine proofreading day, National Proof.
You know what? Let me put it up. Hold on, I got it right here. Let me put it up. It's National Proofreading Day. There you go, right there.
You didn't proofread, did you?
Oh crap! No, I didn't.
No, that wasn't set up whatsoever.
What's wrong? I put a G in it. Oh no, okay, I see what I did. All right, so anyway, happy National Proofreading Day, everybody. Oh God, but something else is more important than proofreading, though, isn't it?
Yes, and this is one of the reasons I'm eating the Samoas. It is International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day today.
Women's Day. I guess.
Women's Day, yeah. Anyway.
And the reason I'm eating the Samoas is not because
it's not one international woman that we celebrate.
Everybody,
it's all of them. So that's what the E is for there.
But it's like one of the few products I had in the house that I knew. It's a female-founded company, right?
Correct.
Maybe not the bakeries themselves that make the cookies.
Well, I wanted to join you in doing that, all right, and celebrating that, all right. But I didn't have any Girl Scout cookies. Anybody that I used to get Girl Scout cookies from, all the girls stopped selling them. They don't sell them anymore. So, it's a stretch. I'm eating a chocolate bar, but it's a Hershey's chocolate bar. Okay, so
You just gave me a headache.
No, not funny, not good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so.
That stretch. That's more than a stretch.
I know it's more stretch, but it still works. Anyway, so
so good.
There's before we bring the guest on.
Yeah.
Some very important business we have to take care of starting today.
Yeah, we were out this Friday.
That's
Friday, and we came across something that really we were having a really good night, and something at the end of the night kind of cast a pallor, so to speak, upon the whole night.
Putting it mildly.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody listens to the show for a long time, you'll know that mine and Samurai's pretty much favorite beer bar anywhere in the world is in Williamsburg, Brooklyn on Metropolitan Avenue, and the name of it is Spite and Dival.
Spite and Dival.
Okay.
This place was fantastic. One of the first places in the country that you'd find Cantillon. The bottle list was a book.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It was a book, but you didn't really need the book because it was up on the walls.
It was on the walls. Here, let me throw up some pictures and show you what it was like. Here was the vibe. Here was the bar. Small place, narrow, decent seating in the front, all the way in the back, but a beautiful backyard area.
Oh God, yeah.
Gorgeous courtyard. I mean, you could fit like 10 times the amount of people that are inside, outside. But you can see a little bit of the boards there and everything else, and of course, right? They have a slicer there. They had cheeses and meats. They could do chocolate platters. They did pickle platters and olives and stuff like that. But cheeses and meats were the main ones. Here's another view of it from the back. Just a really cool place. And here, this is important. There were many of those.
And even the bathrooms. The bathrooms had chalkboards on. They left chalk in there.
They left chalk in, exactly. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, you're going to want to check out the beginning of this on Facebook or the YouTube channel just to see what we're talking about with these menus, if you don't know.
But yeah, the chalkboards in the bathroom. I've got some. Some fond memories.
Oh yeah, fond memories of the chalkboards in the bathroom.
Yeah. We were there for my birthday, and
we all wrote messages in there.
Yeah, so that was cool. And now it's tiled.
Well, yeah.
They're beautiful.
Bathrooms are tiled now. It's very nice, but hold on. Here's another view, and this pretty much describes it. Look at all of those menus. Everything's written there, and that writing there. I mean, every single one of them is a bottle, right?
Yep.
And that didn't even scratch the surface of the bottles that they had there. I mentioned before we were talking, before we started the show, you would be remiss if you didn't find a 15-year-old bottle of J.W. Lee's.
It was
harvest
cool.
ale, you know.
You'd sit there and you'd think you've read every board up there. And like there's one time John, Jim and I were drinking in the back, and John went. We were taking turns getting bottles. And every now and then, I finally came out with a bottle. You're like, where the hell did you find them? You got to read one of the small boards on the bottom.
Yeah, it's but you know what? You literally need you need to go behind the bar to read it. That's how small it was written, because they needed to fit everything on the boards, right?
And it was a green bench, wasn't it? That I
was a green bench.
Yeah, it was a green bench. Yeah.
So all right, so here's the problem. Herein lies the problem. Okay, let me put this last picture back up.
Yeah.
That was home. You know, that was where we wanted. Anytime we wanted to thought of a beer bar, that's what first came to mind, right?
Yep.
This is now Spite and Dival.
You are looking at bottles upon bottles of Amaro.
Nothing but Amaro. It's all.
And I like Amaro, but I don't love Amaro.
I like Amaro as well, and I will have a couple of glasses of Amaro. It's fine, but don't do it in a bar that was world renowned for what it was.
Yep, and you can see the if you go back to that picture, John, you can see a red binder behind the bar. That red binder. At first, we got excited because we thought that was the bottle list. That is the Amaro list, and if you look onto the red side on the bar itself, that is now the beer list.
Yeah, there's a beer list. There's literally they have 6 taps. But 10. They're not 10 taps. Oh, that's right. 10. They increased it. They actually did used to have 6.
So I got to give them props that their tap list is still strong.
But here's the thing, though. Okay, they're not pouring anything that you can't get in another bar, and another good bar, mind you, not just any random bar. In another good beer bar, what they used to have on tap was stuff you couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. The first time I ever had De Duchel Pêche Mortelle on tap was in this bar.
Yeah.
All right. Where do you find that on tap? Anywhere. Now. Doesn't matter. You know, you don't find it on tap. You barely find it in bottles in the store. But
take the picture down. That's upsetting.
Yeah, it's very upsetting. But in any event, so we're making it our plight to.
We kind of promised some people, because we had gotten word on good authority that the bar staff isn't all that thrilled with the change. Yeah. They would love to see it back. So we have.
This was the doing of ownership and only ownership. They just, after all those years of what they were, they decided they were closed for a year and a half for the pandemic. They just opened up again last October. That they decided that this is what they wanted it to become.
So we're taking up the sword and seeing what we can do. That if there's enough response, there's hope that the owner will go back to it being the foremost craft beer bar in Brooklyn.
Right. I think the chances are slim to none, because he obviously did put a bunch of money into that.
Yes.
But we're gonna try nonetheless. So
we'll try nonetheless.
This is the kickoff for that. So anybody wants to, we'll actually we may actually throw up a page for it. What the hell? Yeah. I'm that adamant about.
We need a hashtag.
Yeah, we got to do it. We'll have a hashtag, and
we need a hashtag. Save Ferris. No, I mean save Spite and Dival.
Save Spite and Dival, or restore the Dival, or something to that
effect. Something to that effect. But for people who don't quite understand what it would feel like, for those of you who grew up in North Jersey, it would be as if Rutt's Hut all of a sudden became a pizza place.
Right.
Right. A nice brick oven pizza place.
Right. So delicious pizza, but why did you stop doing what you did that was world renowned? Right. So. And
so we're on a mission from God.
Exactly. And speaking, you're on a mission. There you go. And speaking of Rutt's Hut.
Speaking of,
why don't we bring our?
I could use a Weller.
I could use a couple at least a couple of rippers right now. Maybe a little chili and onion rings. But let's bring on I'm getting hungry, and we got to drink first. So let's bring on our guest. Our guest is none other than the owner and co-founder of the brewery that sits directly across the street from Rutt's Hut. That would be Mr. Steve Bauer. Welcome to the show, Steve. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Well,
thanks for having me.
So Ghost Hawk Brewing is the brewery that you walk out of, go out the parking lot, and right across the street, there's the brewery.
There it is.
How many bags of Rutt's Hut do you see come into your brewery?
Oh, I mean, countless. I mean, it's an all-day thing, especially on the weekends. People will stop in there, grab some dogs to go, and stop by us and have beers at the bar.
Oh, smelling those all day must be torturous if you can't get
Let
away.
me ask you, how many bags do you see a day that you bring in to the bar?
Not so many anymore. I used to eat ruts pretty heavily, but due to some health issues, I had to curb my diet a little bit. But I still enjoy a ripper every once in a blue, but not all the time. Like when we're under construction, I was there like 8 hours, 10 hours a day, and I ate like 2 meals a day at Ruts Hut, hands down. And
You can see that.
yeah,
There you go.
it was very convenient.
Oh, yeah, it's very convenient and very tasty too.
Yeah.
I can't walk in there and get less than 3 rippers. It's three's to start,
How many years in a row has it got the #1 hot dog joint in the United States?
Many.
At least 3 that I remember.
Yeah.
Can remember.
Yeah,
but possibly more. Who knows?
It's insane. So good.
I always remember a story. Harry Lugnuts from the Sports Podcast, when he first moved out to Denver back in '93. About 6 months after he moved out there, he went to a hot dog place out there, Steve's, I think it was, or something like that. And he said he was in line waiting to go up, and there were pictures on the wall. And he just happened to turn to his left and looked, and there was a picture of Ruts Hut. In a hot dog place in Denver, there was a picture of Ruts Hut. So he says he he didn't expect, he expected good hot dogs, but if they're putting up and praising Ruts Hut, obviously,
Oh God! Years ago, I was standing on Pink's in was it West Beverly Hills?
Okay.
Another famous hot dog joint, and the line's so long, you get to talking to people, and you say, "Well, where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Jersey." Like, "Oh God, you've been to Ruts Hut?" Yeah, of course I've been to Ruts Hut. I'm from Jersey. You go to it's a thing you do. So. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
No, it's not. No,
we're here to drink beer.
I grew up 5 minutes away from Ruts Hut, so on the other side of the river. So
Down in a van?
On the other side of the river, down in a van by the river.
Was it Rutherford?
In North Arlington, actually.
Oh, North Arlington, yeah.
North Arlington, yeah. So that's maybe 8 minutes away, but
Everything's
anyway.
8 minutes away to John.
Oh, shut the hell up. Anyway, all right, let's open beer. All right. I don't need to take this crap from you. I can go downstairs and get it.
Yes, you could. Oh, she must be really feeling her own since it's International Women's Day.
No, yeah. Well, the International Women's are doing what they do on Tuesday nights. So.
Pinochle?
No, mahjong.
I know it's mahjong.
So anyway, all right.
So anyway, this.
So all right. So I'll throw. So you open first since you.
I already did.
All right.
And he's already opened.
I'm gonna just throw that up there because both of them are drinking.
Yeah, I mean,
lager, so.
I opened mine. Sorry about that.
No worries. Don't need to be sorry.
I didn't.
It was a long opening today.
It was a long opening because of the Spine Dival thing. So, I, however, am not. I was unfortunately could not get up to Clifton or North Jersey to grab any. So, I will be drinking a lager as well, but from Common Roots. I'll be drinking Common Roots lager. So
Nice.
I'll throw that one up there, and I drink this because I picked this one because. Other than the fact that I had it, Christian Weber from Common Roots. His birthday was yesterday, so happy birthday, Christian. So,
Happy birthday.
Christian's been on the show before.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Buon compleanno.
What'd you say?
Buon compleanno. I told you I'm trying to learn Italian.
You'll learn Italian. That's why I said, what did you say? I wanted you to say it again. So. All right, there we go. Let me, snap my picture here. So, how is your lager, Dave? How's the Ghost Talk lager?
Oh, this is fantastic. Like I said, for some reason, I thought it was a Vienna lager. The tastes a little bit of Vienna lager to me, but this is a Keller beer, right?
It's Keller beer. We actually just released a new lager today. Yeah, American Pale Lager.
Cheers.
We don't have it in cans, so but I do have this in cans. So this is the one I'm going with.
Yeah, it's there on Sunday, and these are from Sunday.
Very nice. This is tasty too. I need to get some of that. So, all right, let's dive into Ghost Talk. Let's start off with the question. Everybody. What was the not about Ghost Talk? The question we ask everybody to kick it off. What was the first craft beer you can remember ever having, Steve?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it would be considered craft beer. Maybe not at this point, but the first non like Budweiser, like standard like American style beer that I ever can remember drinking was Bass Ale. And that might be a macro at this point, but back in the
Not back then, no.
but like 30 years ago, it was pretty hard to find, and they had these like pint bottles at the liquor store back in the day. This had to be like probably 98, 99, and I remember seeing on the shelf, and I just got it. I was like, let me just get this thing because it looks different,
Right.
and that pretty much was it. That kind of started my journey of like got to try different things and different beers. There's other things like Budweiser other than like Budweiser and Miller Lite. There's
Sure.
other things out there.
Of course. But yeah, that's cool. I think that's the first. Now have we had a bass before? I think that might
On
be
the
the
show?
first. Yeah, I think that might be the first.
That's the first bass, yeah.
Bass. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's good bass.
Bass was
I guess the first
a blend up the Bassomatic.
It's the Bassomatic. It slices. It dices.
I guess the first craft beer I remember drinking was Dogfish Head. Several years after that, but probably early 2000s drinking the Dogfish Head.
Sure.
But anything besides like a standard, normal, like college style, everyday drinking beer, like
Right.
Bass Ale was the one that I remember distinctly.
Nice. Cool. That's awesome. All right. What first got you? I mean, what first got you into the industry? Like what? Like even if it's just like a level above just being a craft beer drinker. Kind of thing. What first made you say, you know what? I might want to do a little bit more than just drink this stuff.
Yeah, good question. I would say it was probably about like 2010-ish. I was dating a girl who she worked at Cricket Hill Brewery in Fairfield, and at the time, you weren't allowed to have a tap room in your facility. They only started allowing that in 2012.
Correct.
So when this time this was happening, if you went to her job on Fridays and you helped them, like do stuff, like help them, like pack up six packs, stuff like that. They give you free samples of beer. They have this little beer meetup, and that's the first time I'd ever been inside like a brewery. I'd never seen all these like fermenters and all this, stainless steel equipment, and she was actually a home brewer as well, and she had a little kit in her basement, and she was making some really kick-ass beer, and so I've been a graphic designer for like almost 20 years now, and so we started putting our heads together, like, hey, you're making some really good beer. I've been doing design work for all this time, so like, why don't we put our heads together and like start something up? Unfortunately, I didn't realize how much money was involved in starting up a brewery, so we started to looking for investors, and that was the biggest challenge that we had. So that idea kind of died in the water, and then fast forward to all these years later, I wound up playing up with my business partner now, but yeah, once I saw that garage for the first time, I was like, this is cool. This is something that I could see myself doing. And it took almost 10 years to like make it actually happen.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a reality now.
That's a cool story. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. Back in the day, those Fridays at Cricket Hill too, were
if you remember, it was a pretty cool thing. Like, it was just really cool being inside. Seeing it's a very similar setup to like what we have at Ghost Hawk. It's like very industrial. It's a garage. All the equipment's right out in the open. And I never seen anything like that before. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so the incarnation of Ghost Hawk, obviously, was after the original idea. Way back in 2010. So
several years later, obviously. But during the span of like the time between that, I've done a lot of traveling out to West Coast, like California, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado. I have a lot of friends out there, and the brewery has scene out there is like so incredible. It's like it's not it's like so different than like even still what's going on in New Jersey. Like it just seems like you breweries is where you want to go out there.
Right.
Almost seems like people don't even go to bars. Like breweries is where it's at.
Right.
And I would come back to New Jersey, and during those years, and like the brewery scene, it existed, but not as prevalent as like out west. And so that's why really wanted to bring that kind of flavor out, a little closer to home.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Yeah, Dave, you were say something?
Yeah, the breweries out there, do they do at the time, did they serve food?
Well, out west.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think so. It's I'm pretty sure New Jersey's the only state that doesn't allow people to serve food. It's pretty wild, but I'm pretty sure they all. I don't think that ever like. I can remember like being at a few breweries in Albuquerque. So my buddy lives out there, and I went there several times to visit, and I could always remember seeing the food trucks outside. But I don't think they were prohibited from serving food themselves anyway. But I can remember seeing these food trucks outside. Like I could do that here. There's no restriction against that here. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they were doing that then too.
Right. Quick aside, really quick. Gene Lynch says, "Cheers, fellas." Cheers,
Hey,
Gene.
Gene.
Cheers, Gene.
Cheers.
And this is from before. Kerry Sorrentino said, "Gave me an A for effort for that Hershey's."
Oh, that was the A for effort.
So anyway, cool. So all right, so let's fast forward to the beginnings of what became Ghost Walk. How did that come about?
Well, so it was. I think it was summer like 2017. I was kind of out of work. I in the years before that, I had two major personal losses. So one of my best friends passed away. Him and his girlfriend died in an accident. In a crazy, they died in a carbon monoxide leak in their studio space.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was life altering for me on a personal level. And then a year later, my younger brother died, and so that kind of like set me on a path that I had been working like a corporate job for like 10 years, like the regular like khakis, fucking business casual, like bullshit, like the movie Office Space. That's
Right.
it's kind of what I was doing. And then like in the matter of like little over a year, I lost two of these people who were really important to me in my life. And I was like, dude, I gotta get out of this corporate job. So at the time, my friend was opening the restaurant, and so I quit my corporate job and I started managing the restaurant. And then I just went off to start like bartending and all kinds of stuff. And I just didn't want to live that corporate life anymore. But like I've been doing graphic design for like 15 years at that point. And I had a body of work under my belt, and I kind of like put a Facebook status out into the ether, just saying like, hey, I've been doing all this stuff for so long. I've been doing design work, and like I have all these skills under my belt. Like who has an idea that or who has something that they could bring to the table, so we never have to work again. So, so that basically my business partner Tom, he at the time, so Tom was my brother's high school buddy. I know Tom since he was like 15 years old, And he reached out to me and he said, "Look, I read your post. Can I stop by one day and just like have some beers and I'll talk about an idea that I have." So I said, "Yeah, cool." So Tom came by a couple days later, and I read your post. It really resonated with me. So I have a proposition for you. So at the time, I had this like freelance like clothing business that I had started for the last few years. Like I was doing that while I was still working in my office job. I was doing this on the side, like selling T-shirts, going to uh, like bands shows and stuff like that, and setting up tables and just like selling my stuff online. It was doing well. It was gaining popularity,
Right.
and then so Tom approached me and said, "Look, I have some money that I want to invest in a business. Um, I want to invest in your clothing company." I said, "Oh, that's fucking awesome." I'm sorry, but I don't know if I can curse on this.
You can
You can fucking curse.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. That's.
fucking curse away.
Yeah. Good. Good. So, but then said like Tom, that's incredible, but then I started telling him about this idea that I was trying to build for a brewery with my friend who worked in Cricket Hill, like 6 7 years before that.
Right.
So I started telling him, I was like, we had all these plans to put together, but we couldn't find an investor to come together and like bring, to bring to life on a capital level. But I have all these ideas, and that I think that would be a great idea in the area. And Tom, he works in finance, and like that's what he does for a living. So he said, "Look, I'm going to do my homework on the brewery industry. It's like I'll hit you up in like next week." So like whatever, some time went by, and he got back in touch with me and said, "Look, I'll invest in you, 100%. Like this, I think this will work." And that's where we got started. Like around summer 2017. We didn't open till April 2019, but so it was like almost 2 years in the works. But that was the very beginnings of where it started.
Well, there you go. That's
Yeah.
that's a story and a half.
Yes, and I'll ask a question John knows I love to ask.
Go for it.
Where did the name Ghost Hawk come from? How did you derive that?
Okay. So Ghost Talk is actually a dedication to my brother who passed away, my brother Dan. So when we were kids, my dad would take us like hiking and fishing, and like take us for like weekends we'd spend out in the woods, like Harriman State Park, Catskills, and all these like deep woods, like kind of hiking spots. We hike up with full packs, set up tents, like, and really like rugged ass like nature.
Real hiking.
Yeah, exactly.
Not when, because a lot of
Yeah.
people say hiking, it's a nature walk.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
This is some. We like I said, we carry full packs, like sleeping bags, tents, inflatable boats to go on lakes and stuff, and
The food, the stove.
yeah, the food, the stoves, all that stuff. And so we really did that, and there was no cell phones. This is the '80s, so there was no contact with the outside world. So we were really out there. But my dad would always teach me and my brother about like animals and birds. He's a big nature guy, and so my brother, he like from a young age he was really obsessed with hawks. He loved red-tailed hawks. It was like a thing for him. Like I remember in our 20s, his first tattoo that he ever had, it was a big hawk tattoo on his arm, and that wasn't the first. That was the first, but he had multiple hawk tattoos as well. And just even in our 30s, we went to like a bird sanctuary, and we put the gloves on and held hawks together, and like the hawk was his spirit animal for sure. And so when the day that he passed away, I was in the hospital with him. He was on life support, that we wound up making the decision as a family to take him off the life support. So me and my parents all held him. They took out the tubes, and he wound up passing in our arms like within like 30 seconds. So pretty surreal, of course. And so I left the hospital that day, and I took my dog, who's laying right here next to me, to a spot where my dad would take us fishing. We were kids, local spot, not too far away, but just a local spot. And when I got to where I was going to, I'm sitting there looking at the water, like reflecting on a lifetime of memories. Like me and my brother were like only 3 years apart, so we were pretty close. And so just this lifetime of memories, and just something caught my eye. And I look up at the sky, and there's a hawk circling over my head, and I'm like, I like lost it. I mean, I was like, I just like broke down right there, staring at this like pond where we used to go fishing. And since that day, I've always seen hawks in like these weird times and places that like it doesn't make sense that they're there. And this is years before the brewery was even a thing. I've been seeing them for years before this even happened. So when basically when Tom approached me and said invest the money, he said, like, I have a wife, I have 3 kids, I have a full-time job. He's like, you got to make this thing happen. So, and look, that's what I do for a living. I do design. I'm a graphic designer. I do branding. So, like I wanted to do something that involved the hawk and my, something, just for my brother. And nothing sounded right. Like I kept like, just like something hawk or hawk something, and nothing sounded right. And then like, I was getting frustrated, and then one day, just that name Ghost Hawk like popped into my brain. I was like, "Oh, that'd be cool," because it was tied in with like the way I would see these hawks and like weird like ghostly kind of fashion. So I sketched the logo out a little bit. I got a rough version of it. I got it onto my laptop, and I got a rough version of what I have now. The logo we have now, and I sent it to Tom, and I sent it to my mom. My mom cried when she saw it. She knew exactly what it was for, and so that's all I need to see. That's where the name came from.
And it wasn't taken.
That's was that?
And it wasn't taken already.
Nobody had used it before.
Yeah. Wasn't taken.
So many names.
Sure.
People will go through 30, 50, 100 names before they arrive at something.
Sure.
Yeah, I never even thought of that, but I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
So,
wow. So if anybody needs a minute, take a minute.
There you go.
What was your brother's name?
Dan.
Danny.
Yeah, Danny. Yep.
Yep. Oh, all right.
Gonna have to
Danny
open another
boy.
beer.
If you can see it, I got a Danny boy.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
There you go.
At that, I'm gonna have to open the second beer and drink one for Danny.
There you go.
Yeah,
Right.
my brother, he was a really cool guy, man. He's a brilliant musician. Played guitar. He did like classical guitar lessons from his early childhood. He did a stand-up comedy. He was just like he was an entertainer for sure, and he really knew how to like. He played all kinds of different styles of music, everything from like like jazz guitar to like heavy metal. Like he just played in a lot of bands, and he had more talent in one pinky than I'll ever have in my entire life. But he was very well loved, especially locally, and he had a lot of friends. We grew up in Clifton, and he was very well known, very well loved. So, and he's missed, and I felt like this is the perfect thing to keep his memory alive.
There you go. Well, what are you drinking for Danny?
Well, then it's appropriate saying Danny boy, and with the holiday that's coming up, I'm drinking a Raven Dark.
Nice.
right? Foreign style export stout, and I'm drinking it out of a Guinness glass.
There you go.
So, and this on, I'm doing a lot of traveling on St. Patrick's Day, so on the 16th, I'm going to turn this into a car bomb.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, that's going to be 7.3% alcohol car bomb.
Have fun with that.
It's going to be, it's going to make traveling the next day a lot of fun. So, to Danny.
Sláinte. Thank you.
Sláinte. All right.
Now,
all right.
You said that story, told that story about your friends, and you just mentioned your dog. And while one time I was at the brewery, you told me the story of this beer.
Yes, the good boy.
Good boy.
Yes.
And while I was there, I picked up this one.
Oh, nice.
So they're gonna be sitting so I can get a vertical done at some point.
There you go.
Yeah, I have a case of each of them in my basement. So just so you know, at some point when we have at least 4 of them, we do like a vertical.
The vertical, yeah, absolutely.
So tell us the story behind this beer.
Well, God, it's so I always like just when I started this project, one thing that I always wanted to do was name a beer after my dog, and so this dog. I got whiskey after my buddy Noel passed away. So basically, I'd always wanted to get a dog, but I always made excuses not to get one because I don't have enough room. I'm always working. It's not fair to the dog. Yada yada. But after my buddy Noel passed away, it's kind of a paradigm shift for me in my way of thinking of I gotta stop procrastinating. So I always want to get a dog. So I started looking and I wanted to rescue one. And so I actually found him from the Clifton Animal Shelter, and that dog has got me through the hardest shit in my entire life. I losing my brother, one of my best friends losing, and I lost several people after my brother as well, and through the opening this brewery, and this dog has been with me through the bulk of the heaviest parts of my life. So I always wanted to name when we opened the brewery, I said, look, I want to make a good boy stout. That's what I want to call it. And so I talked to Chris, our brewmaster, and he said, yeah, we could do a barrel aged stout. He said that I usually make a Russian Imperial stout once a year. So we could take half that batch and we'll bottle it, for production. And then every year we donate a portion of the proceeds for the sales to the Clifton Animal Shelter where I rescued whiskey from. So it helps to give back to them as well because they're all volunteer.
Heard a lot that I love there. One, that you rescued a dog. Always love that. Thank you for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
that's
to give
huge.
And then giving to the shelter. There's always been a long time relationship between breweries and animal shelters.
Yeah.
Right. 6 Point used to always have the I forget the name of the event, but it went to all the local animal shelters down in the Red Hook area.
Nice.
Every year they did it. It was one of the first ones I remember. So now is Whiskey camera shy? Can you get him on camera?
Well, he walked in.
He walked away.
Well, I hear him drinking out of his.
He went to get a beer, and
yeah, I'll see if I can get him over here.
Yeah. When he gets back, bring him on.
Yeah.
When he gets back, bring him on. All right. So you mentioned your brewer, Chris.
Yes.
That's Chris Sheehan.
Yes.
Let's talk about him for a minute. He's dabbled a little in brewing over the years. I mean, this might not have been his first gig. So
he's pretty incredible guy. I mean, he's been brewing since 1991 on the West Coast. He was in craft beer during the modern Renaissance
sure,
began back there. And
he started Triple Rock out in California.
Yeah. And he was he started brewing when he was in college. He was going to a college in Berkeley out there, and he got to start brewing but it never really stopped. I mean, from there he moved back to the East Coast. He started brewing in Chelsea, Manhattan, and moved around a couple other places. And
He brewed it, brief stint at not brief stint for him, brief stint for the actual bar, but the Port 44 brew pub in Newark.
Oh yeah,
was him.
Yeah, I know, but it's a shame that it closed down. But so when we met Chris, he was actually not brewing at the time. He was a consultant at the time, just like consulting, like businesses and like like mine, like trying to open up and like help them source equipment and stuff like that.
It was in Queens, right? He was a consultant in Queens.
Yes, he was somewhere, a few places in the area, and I met him through my friends at Silk City. So Silk City Distillers is our next door neighbor. John,
that's convenient.
Yeah, for sure. And John, one of the owners there, is one of my good buddies. So I know John for like 15 years. We were drinking buddies back in the day, and
also convenient.
Yeah. And he went on to like start this distillery up, and when I was getting Ghost Talk started, I said, who can I talk to and pick their brain a little bit about how to start a business like this. And so John was the first person that came to mind. So I hit him up. I popped down there with Tom, and we picked his brain for a little bit. And John, he said, look, I have a guy who's a consultant for breweries. I'm going to link you guys up together, and that wound up being Chris. And so we took on Chris as a consultant originally, and then eventually we just got to the point where we said, hey man, can you make our beer?
Right.
And he wound up signing on. His first comment when we asked him that was, "You can't afford me."
I know Chris, and that sounds like Chris. So.
Yeah, but
tongue in cheek, kind of.
Yeah, but when we worked things out, we ended up bringing in a second investor in, a third partner, who's my older brother, my oldest brother, Tim, he's like, my father had two sons before I married my mom, so Tim's a half brother, but I don't consider him that. He's like
he's your brother. He's your brother.
Consider him a full brother. But once he came on board, we were able to swing it with what Chris needed for his life to continue. And we have a great partnership for the last almost now it's going on we've been open for 3 almost, but it's kind of going on 5, with the construction and all the inception, all that stuff.
Right.
That was another almost 2 years before we opened the doors.
Sure. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's great. All right, let's talk about some of the beers that Chris is brewing.
Okay.
We've obviously already talked about a few, but let's talk about, what are your core beers?
Well, our core beer right now, we have the Ghost Talk Lager. We make that year round. We have our Apex Predator. That's our New England IPA. We make that year round. We have our Raven Dark. That's our export stout. Right there. Mm-hmm. We make that most of the year. I mean, sometimes, we don't make it totally year round, but for the most part, it's on. We always have a stout on.
Right.
It just depends. Like if he makes a one-off stout, we might have the Raven Dark for temporary. But most of the year we have it. Then he also makes a wheat beer most of the year. We make a cherry wheat. So the cherry wheat is we have 2 different recipes for this, the warm months and the colder months. So we have a winter version and warmer style version. The warmer version is a tart cherry. It's a lighter ABV. It's only about 4%. The winter version is like 6.5. More like hardy, for the winter time. And everything else, he does a lot of seasonal beers, and he does one-offs as well.
Did I miss Apex Predator?
No, he said it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's in there.
I must have flaked.
Yeah,
for a second.
And the Chris, he always tries to have a Belgian style on the lineup, which I like. He does them really well, and I like the variety. And what's important about this episode in particular, we just recently got our second lager tank.
Nice.
So the Ghost Dog lager is in constant rotation. So we have a 30-barrel lager tank, and this beer is in such high demand that we have to constantly brew it and fill up that tank up. And Chris ages the lagers for about 5 to 6 weeks. So it's its primary in the conical fermenter, and then like for about a week, and then it goes into the lager tank for another 4 to 5 weeks. So by the time that's coming out, we're filling it right back up because it's in such high demand that we haven't really been able to make a secondary lager. So we got a second lager tank, which is just about to be hooked up next week. We thought it was going to happen yesterday, just getting the glycol piped in, but we hit some delays with that. But that's going to allow us to add like more lagers, pilsners, just lager style beers in general into our lineup. Like we select the IPAs and the Belgians, but like we really want to go more lager heavy in the rotation. And we just didn't have the capacity to do it in the past. So that's
right.
What's like our first major upgrade to our brewing system was a second lager tank. So
we've talked about it almost ad nauseum for like the last 5-6 shows.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. How there's this trend towards lagers and pilsners that we're seeing, and we are loving this.
Every minute of it.
Same here, man. I can't even tell you how much I love it.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. And there's so much good liquid out there.
Yeah. I mean, to the point where we brought it up a couple times before on the show. I don't know if you're aware when last time you were out in Denver, if you talked to whatever. There's a new brewery opened up last year in Denver, Cohesion.
No, I haven't heard it.
They are a Czech lager brewery. All they make is Czech lagers, Czech style lagers.
I would live
different ones, but yeah, that's it.
I've been to Bierstadt.
Bierstadt's great. They're absolutely great. Yeah, but this is just Czech lager. No German lagers, no anything else. Just Czech lagers. That's all they make.
Pivo.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, no, I'm loving every minute of it, and Dave is as well. So, and many other people are too. So,
yeah.
Now you were talking about your seasonals. Maybe my favorite beer you make is one of your seasonals, fall seasonal, and that's the brown.
What the nut brown ale?
Yeah.
Was
it Falling Leaves?
No, Leaves Turn.
Leaves Turn.
Leaves Turn.
And the thing is, I still have a can of it left, but there's no way I was going to drink a 6-month-old beer on the
I got one in my beer fridge right now.
Yeah, there's one sitting in the beer fridge. I'm like, no, let me get some fresher beer. But I'm sure it held up beautifully, though.
No, it actually did.
Yeah.
It's funny both of you are saying that. Every year I save 1 or 2 cans of a brown ale. Doesn't matter which one. Doesn't matter whatever, because I love brown ales too. But whatever, 1 or 2 cans of brown ales. This may sound weird, but I drink them. It's my thing. I drink them while I'm watching night 1 of the NFL draft. That's my thing. I'll drink my 2 brown ale. Drink my 2 brown ales that night.
He's got a lot of little OCD things.
It's like
it's an OCD thing. It's what I want to drink while it just happens. Because brown ales are the fall, right? And football is the fall, and now we're in April, so it's my throwback. It's that what I'm doing.
Like, but I'm not like. Maybe I'm just not like aware of it, but like I'm not seeing a lot of breweries put out a brown ale.
Do not. There's not enough. I mean, there's more. I'm a huge Schwarzbier, Tomave Pivo. I'm a huge dark lager whore. I really am, as Dave is as well. But I like brown ales almost as much as I love those. And there's so much more of the dark lagers now, which is great. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
But it's still like an unsung. Brown ales are still an unsung.
On Friday, you were at a brewery that makes a fantastic brown.
Say again.
On Friday, you were at a brewery that makes a fantastic brown.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Strong ropes brown is amazing.
And I have one can of it downstairs, but I didn't drink it on the show because I'm drinking 2 lagers on the show tonight. So.
Yeah, like I remember
not.
when we first, anniversary opening, like Chris was working on the we opened in April that year. Then like Chris was working on the fall lineup, and he told me he's coming out with a nut brown ale. I said, "Holy shit, man! I haven't had a good nut brown ale like so long."
Right.
I was thinking like Sam Smith.
Sure.
You know, that's a classic. You know,
it's the OG, yeah.
Yeah, it is the OG.
And I was like, "Oh man, that'd be." And his version came out incredible. And I haven't had many other brown ales in the area. I did have a good one at Rushing Duck up in New York.
Oh yeah,
Rushing Duck brown ale is very good.
They had a really nice brown ale last time I was up there, but I can't recall seeing many others in the area.
Kane puts out a good brown ale every year. Driftline.
But that's an imperial oatmeal brown.
It's an imperial oatmeal brown. It's still a brown ale though, but it works.
Yeah.
But
So Leaves Turn, the first time I had it was not this past fall, but the fall prior to that. Was that the first year?
2019 is when we.
Okay, so it wasn't. But my first taste of that was. I mean, I just looked into the glass for the longest time.
You had it in 2019 because we both had it in 2019.
That's right. We did have it in 2019. That's right. But my first taste of it was like, this is. I'm in Passaic County. How could I be drinking a beautiful brown ale? This is fantastic. I fell in love with that beer. And every year I'd get up there, except for the year I was in Rhode Island, the lost year in Rhode Island. I would always get there for for Leaves Turn.
There you go. Awesome. So any specials, any one-offs, any
other than Good Boy?
Other than Good Boy.
We have like in our current lineup. So I know we have a Belgian triple coming out. The first one we ever put out are releasing. We have released Belgians before, but only an Abbey single. We've released a double. This is their first triple.
There you go. So next year's the quad, right?
Yeah, maybe. You never know. We definitely have a double IPA coming out. One off. We have a Grisette coming.
Grisette, really?
Yeah.
I know someone who'd be interested in that.
Another unsung style.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. That's the latest couple things on. We do have I can't really go into detail too much about it yet, but we have a collab coming out.
It's on a need-to-know basis, and at this point, nobody needs to know.
Yeah,
so.
we have a collab in the works right now, and that's going to be a dark lager.
But who it's with is the secret, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But a dark lager, we'll be there for that.
Yeah. Well, if it's dark lager, we'll obviously both be there. So.
Yeah.
Well, you got a longer ride.
We might be getting rippers before we walk across the street, but we'll both be there.
But we'll make tempt you with one.
It's a local collab, so and it'll be it's being brewed at both locations.
Nice.
So there'll be two versions to try, but it's coming out soon. Like it's set to be brewed later this month. Chris and the other brewers worked out a recipe, so that's all set in stone, and I'm just working on the branding right now.
Gotcha.
On that end, but I should be making an announcement toward the end of this month about it.
Awesome.
That's one of the things I love about Ghost Talk is you're not afraid of any style.
No, Chris really isn't. I mean, and I love that because I didn't want to just be like an IPA factory and pumping out hazies. That's a thing, and there's a market for everything. And and I love the hazes. I'll drink them all the time. But I just didn't want to just be that kind of brewery. I love Chris's like style. It's like it's all over the map, and I'm all about it. Like I'm all about doing that.
Nice.
Well,
That's
you
awesome.
take people like John and I who have been in the craft beer world for a long time. We're always looking for those breweries that are pumping out, not pumping out the hazies. We're looking for the breweries that are hitting those styles that you don't see all the time.
Right.
Like, oh my God, this brewery just brewed a strong Scottish ale.
We have
We
one.
need.
Right.
You mean?
Well,
You mean?
there's a reason he just told you.
Oh yeah.
You mean that one? Yeah. You mean that one? Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm aware. It's freaking delicious, by the way, Steve.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is a dangerous damn beer.
Yeah. At
Okay, 'cause I've
9%,
been-
A
yeah.
dangerous
Yeah.
damn beer or a damn dangerous beer?
Both.
All right, there you go.
It's very
Damn, this beer's
drinkable.
dangerous.
It's so drinkable for 9%, and
Oh my God.
you really, it's scary. Like Chris's strong beers are frightening because
Mhm.
they're very drinkable, and you're like, wow, I could put this whole can down like in 2 minutes, and like, oh shit, I should have done that.
Are you
Well,
moving on to that now?
I'm moving on to that, and I got myself a smaller glass. I'm going to pretend that I'm just going to drink this glass, but I'm sure
You'll fill it up when they're finished. with
that'll
it.
be filled up again.
All right, so
it's an 8%.
Well, let's talk about that beer. There you go. I'll throw it up there. Talk about it. It's 8 point. That's almost 9%. It's 8.9%.
Yeah.
So,
Bear.
Barra, yeah.
Yeah.
Strong Scotch ale.
And it's written on the can in like Celtic runes
There you go.
Yeah.
Very nice.
or Germanic runes, I guess. Germanic
Yeah.
runes.
Yeah, I do all of the design work, all the labels and stuff. So
Awesome.
I figured that'd be nice little touch for.
Well,
the,
this is kind of why I'm wearing the shirt I'm wearing today. This is kind of, smacks of the figure on, Zep 4, right?
yeah.
4, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So I had to wear kind of my
So
Zep shirt.
you put Led Zeppelin 1 on. So there you go.
Well, it's actually not Zeppelin 1. It's kind of a mashup
Oh, it's
Star
a mash.
Wars.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know.
it is. I see it.
Yeah, that's not a Zeppelin. That is a Imperial.
It's an Imperial
Rebel. No, a Rebel. It's a Rebel transport.
transport. There you go.
Nice.
Very, very interesting.
It's a
mashup.
very subtle mashup.
Very subtle mashup. There you go. All right. I'm gonna open my my next beer. I'll throw that
But
up
this beer, when you get your nose into it, you've got that 2-row malt nose that is just lovely in a Scotch ale, right?
there. Sure.
And it drinks so smoothly,
There you go.
and you get a little bit. I mean, there's a malt sweetness to it,
Right.
which there's
There it is.
whiskey.
Whiskey.
Hey, whiskey.
What's up, whiskey? Dave's drinking a Scotch ale, but it's time for whiskey. So there you go.
I got Scotch whiskey over there.
He got Scotch whiskey. There you go.
What kind of dog is whiskey?
So, whiskey. I don't know. He's a North American street dog. Like I don't know
North
what.
American street dog.
I
It's a-
love that.
It's actually it's a breed. It's a breed.
Um, So he was found on the street. Like they don't know where he came from. Animal control picked him up on the street.
Nobody did a 23andMe on him. I mean,
So
to find out.
So a couple of years after I got him, I went up again the DNA test, and I swabbed his cheeks and all that, sent it out, and I got the results back. And
And it came back North American street dog.
50% unknown. It came back 50%
Really?
unknown, and,
Oh, wow.
and I had like little blocks of like breeds that looked nothing like him, and I was like, "This is worthless." So I just don't know what he is. He's a big mystery. He's a like my best guess is like I would say a German Shepherd and some kind of hound mix. He seems like he has features of both. He's very prey driven. Like he goes after anything that moves. He's like on it like some kind of hunting dog.
Oh, so he's got to have some hound in him.
And he's very athletic, in great shape. He's about 65, 70 pounds.
He looks so small on this label.
Yeah. But he's a
Now, did he pose for that with the hat on, or did he?
No. So that's a picture I took him when we were hiking.
Right.
And then I sent it to my buddy who's like an illustrator, and I said, look, like I explained the situation to him with the mezcal barrels that were aging it in, and I said, look, is there any way you could like take this photo and like draw it with a sombrero on the dog? And he said, yeah, I could do that. And he came back to me like a few days later, and he sent me that drawing, and I was like, it was perfect.
There you go.
That's awesome. Well, we do know what he is. He is
There
a
you go.
good boy.
He's a good boy.
Yes, he is a
There
good
you
boy. That's for sure.
I'm going to open my next beer. I picked it up this weekend at the brewery because I happened to be there.
You were there.
I was there. It wasn't the only one I was at that day, but I'll be nice to the other ones. No, it was it was a good time at that brewery, and that would be a Human Robot, and it's the Tamabe 13.
That's what a great beer.
That's a
This is so
fantastic beer.
So, yeah, another again Czech dark lager, such a good beer, and the side pull tap that they poured it out of at the brewery.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the beer is delicious, but this can's not doing it justice. It needs that foam is just.
We just ordered a Luger tap faucet.
Did you?
Nice. Yeah, you know, we have the second lager tank almost ready to go. We're putting out new lagers, so we ordered the Luger faucet, and yeah, we definitely wanted to do the side pull lagers. It seems like the proper way to do it.
You know, the only issue, that's a beautiful beer. The only issue I had with that beer when I was there was the first one I ordered. That went down in no time.
My glass was empty. My glass was empty too fast.
Yeah. It's just like, where to go? It was too good. You couldn't stop drinking. It just pounded that down.
So, and
I'm going to try not to pound down beer, though.
No, please don't do that. Because
whiskey.
that'd be good. So, yeah, this beer's really tasty. And of course, while I was at Human Robot, of course, I did a milk tube. You know, so.
Yeah,
gotta do a milk tube.
You gotta do a milk tube. So.
I really want to go down there sometime. My brother lives in a little north of Philly, so next time I go to visit him, I'm gonna definitely stop down there.
Where is he?
He's in Warrington.
Okay, because they actually did open up Human Robot did open up a location in Jenkintown.
Yeah, we know this because
I
Jim wound up there by accident.
Yes, Jim wound up there by accident. We were meeting somebody down there, James. He's commented on the show before. He's a regular. He walks in. We're in there first. He said, "We're here. Where are you?" He says, "We're inside, sitting at the table in the middle of the room." He goes, "I'm standing in the middle of the room. I'm looking around. I don't see you." I'm like, "I'm sitting in the middle of the room. You're not here. I mean, what, are you invisible?" He was in Jenkintown. We were in Philly. So. He says, "Shit, I'll be there in 15 minutes." They got back in the car and drove down to Philly. So, but anyway, so it was a good trip down there, and the food, the Pose sandwiches, amazing. So it's I recommend it. Get down there. Yeah, Steve, get down to Philly.
I certainly will.
The only reason I didn't get a sandwich when I was there because I had gone to Dinnick's earlier.
You had just gone to the Knicks, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad sandwich either, mind you. I mean, you know, I could actually I let's put it this way. Both sandwiches are so good I would have both. And by the way, just so you're aware, they actually do have the pulled Italian roast pork with sharp provolone and broccoli rabe as an option at the sandwich shop
do
inside
they really?
Human Robot. Yes, they do.
Yeah, we weren't even.
Now it's not the Knicks, but it's their version of it, and they actually put roasted long hots on top of theirs as well.
Nice.
So, yeah.
You might want to check that out too. Yeah.
I might have to stay there for about a good 6 hours. So I got 3 sandwiches.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you.
Palatine.
My next beer.
No.
There you go.
This one.
Suarez.
Yeah, this is an amazing pilsner.
I always want to call it Palpatine, but
Gee, I wonder why you want to call it that.
I'm a Star Wars guy as well.
Oh shit.
Oh man. So I got a question for you. So the bar. That bar looks hand carved.
Yeah, it pretty much was. It's so when we got this project started, so I had my buddy, and he posted some stuff on his Instagram, just like doing some like woodworking stuff, and it had a really good style to it. So I hit him up and I said, "Look, I'm opening this brewery. We need a bar, and can you come down and check it out?" So he did, and he wound up building this incredible bar for us.
It is incredible.
Thank you. We spent a lot of time on it. Um,
I spend a lot of time sitting at it.
yeah.
Dave spends a lot of time at it too. So
It was built from built from the ground up. The front face of the bar and the backdrop of the bar right by the taps. That's all 100-plus-year-old pine, reclaimed pine from a barn that was being demolished. The mosaic on the top of the bar, that is over 900 cut 4x4s individually stained, and then we rearrange it into a mosaic and laid epoxy on top of it, and the bar rail is brand new Home Depot fence post that he beat the shit out of. He grinded it. He just all this shit to it to make it look like a 1,000 years old. But that's actually a brand new fence post, and it just all came together well. When I got this project started, I really wanted the bar to be the main focus. Besides these huge steel vats and everything like that, but that's of course the main thing that people see when they walk in there. But secondary to that, I wanted the bar to be like a main focus, and because I've been to a lot of breweries, and a lot of breweries, I think to me it feels like their bar was a secondary thought. They just kind of like added in after everything else was done.
right,
And
and that's true.
and
I agree with that.
I was a bartender for so many years before this brewery opened, and I always liked the nightlife. I always liked the small details. I like the focus on the actual bar itself, and so that's like even with the tap room is open, like I don't have the big production lights on. I have like dim lighting. I have like nice like ambiance, and like it's just more conducive to like people hanging out and having beers than these big floodlights on and everything all bright and crazy looking.
It's you're right. The ambiance in the bar, I was thinking about the last time I was there. It's almost ethereal because especially when you got the doors open.
Yeah,
When you got the garage door open and then the natural light's coming in, it almost casts like a halo over everything.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting feel. And then just all the little details on the bar. Like there's like this one little inset all the way to the right side of the bar if you're looking at it. And someone put like a little army soldier in there. So that's kind of cool. Right?
Yeah.
But one thing that catches the eye is on top of the bar, you've got this carving of New Jersey with a hawk sitting on top of it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that was given to me as a gift from a really good friend of mine. Just a little background on me. I about 2 years ago, I had a major health incident. I almost died. So basically, I had a blockage in my brain that had been building up for years and years. They don't know how long. And eventually, on December 11th, it decided to block up, and it caused me to have a massive stroke. And so I wound up having to have open brain surgery. They had to rewire my whole brain. They had to like bypass an artery from my neck into the one in my brain to get blood flowing back. I lost all my speech. I lost my mobility. I had to go through months of speech therapy, physical therapy to learn how everything all over again. Like at 42 years old, I had to learn all life functions, adult life functions again, like a child, like a 3-year-old. And so, point of the story is, my buddy got a friend of his to commission that wood carving for me, and he worked on it for like 6 months. I didn't even know about it. And then one day he surprised me with it, and I broke down in fucking tears. It was one of the most nicest gifts I've ever gotten in my life, and it's so relevant to like Ghost Talk, and it's like the original piece was done with like a chainsaw. like all the big cuts were done from one piece of wood with a chainsaw, and then he like chiseled all the little pieces of with some smaller tools, and then like finished it up and like did the stain and all that stuff. But he said it took him 6 months of his life to make that thing, as perfect as it is right now. So that's kind of like they just rolled up into the brewery one day with it in the back of the guy's pickup truck, and it was like such an incredible gift. And eventually I want to like do something with it, or like maybe move it down off the cooler. But for right now, I still
It
want
draws the eye.
Yeah, of course. And like I don't want people like poking it, like it's like I don't want anyone to mess with it. So I have it on the cooler, like away from everything. But yeah, that's a really a meaningful piece for me. You just on so many levels.
Well, it seems like, and this actually explains something for me. You've been through some shit.
Oh yeah.
You've been through a lot of shit, more shit than most people could take. Because the one thing, and I've said this to John, and I think I told John that I wanted to mention this on the show. The atmosphere at the bar is really cool, right? It's a cool bar. The bar itself, the physical construction of it. Your location across from Rutt's Hut, fine, that's awesome. You got Silk City right next door. You've got some great liquid coming out of this place. One thing that I enjoy the most is really the fact that there's very few breweries that you can go to where so often you're going to go there, and the owner of the brewery is behind the bar talking to everybody. You engage everybody at that bar at some point. And I think a lot of it may be because you've been through so much that you value this. You value people. You value their stories, your stories, and how everybody interacts.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, like I did that before. During their first 8 months of being open, I was behind the bar, like and at that point I was actually like really behind the bar and like serving
you were pouring,
and, like pouring beers, washing glasses. I mean, like the first like 8 months of us being open, I was like I said, I was a bartender for many years. So when shit hit the fan, I had no problem getting back there and just getting right in there. But even still, yeah, I mean, I'm there all the time. The tap room is like my baby, It's so we have two parts of the business. So we have distro, of course. So my partner Tom's does all this distro, but the tap room is like its own animal, and like it requires constant attention. We're open 7 days a week.
Absolutely.
And so we each have our role in the business. Like Tom does all the sales out to accounts. I do the tap room. And I just like to like talk to people. It's like hear where like why they're there, or like what brought them there, or like who knows. You meet so many interesting people, and like so many random stories. It's pretty crazy. I've always been into that human connection, talking to people and stuff.
Well, and you also have a great staff. Just to Sunday, I was there Sunday. It was like I think it was maybe the only time I was there you weren't.
I know. Yeah.
And I've been there quite often. But your staff, you've got the one guy like you. I think he learns from you to engage everybody at the bar. He does a fantastic job of that. But if you remember on Sunday, it rained early.
Yes.
And then it cleared up and became beautiful.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
yeah.
So the doors open, and all of a sudden, one of your other staff is just grabbing 2 tables at a time and starts setting up the tables outside. It's beautiful. Let's take advantage of. Let's put these tables out.
Yeah.
And they just captured that, and you've got an attentive staff, a fantastic staff that you've got there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, thank you so much. And
I agree with him.
I'll pass it along to them.
Yeah.
It started off. I hired a bunch of my friends. Like I literally hired people that I knew because I didn't know where else to go, and it's worked.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean the only challenge with that is technically I'm the boss, and like I hate being the boss to my friends. So,
But if they're your friends, you know, if they're your friends,
Truly
you
your
don't
friends.
have to be the
A boss.
yeah, correct. I mean, I've never really had that situation where I had to like lay the law down, but you know, it's like you know, you hang out with these people, you've known them for years, and now all of a sudden you're like technically you're their boss.
Right.
You know, it's just a little weird dynamic
No,
in
of course.
some ways, but you know, but other than that, like can't ask for anything else. These guys have done. They have carried this place, you know, and they really did when I was ill. You know, like I was in the hospital for about 12 days, and then I was in recovery for months and months. Like they stepped up and they held it down, like 1,000% until I was able to come back and like start working again.
Awesome.
And that for that I'm so grateful. You know, the crew that works for Ghost Hawk, they're the best. They're the fucking best.
They are fantastic.
There you go. So,
Absolutely.
all right. I think it probably might be time to move on to the top three list.
Time to the top threes.
What do you think?
I think so.
I think it's right. All right.
And yeah, after the top threes, we can follow up on anything that we want to follow up on, like as we usually do.
Well, no, yeah, there's other stuff afterwards, but we'll jump in. We've been talking about lagers a lot, you know, and we've been talking about the fact that I mean, you and I, obviously, Dave, but the three of us, for that matter, tonight are just like, you know, loving the fact that there is definitely a lager renaissance right now.
Yes.
In
Love it.
craft brewing.
We love it.
On that note, tonight's top three list is going to be top three favorite U.S. brewed lagers.
Because when Johnny talks about that renaissance, it's the renaissance in the U.S.
Yeah, there's been lagers everywhere,
Yeah.
delicious lagers everywhere else.
The rest of the world has loved lagers, and it's kind of almost a function of the craft beer movement where lagers and pilsners were looked at as the enemy for the longest time. And it's funny because you look at the big boys. The big boys decided the only way to stop this grab of market by craft beer was to then start buying craft beers or making their own craft beer.
Yep.
And eventually the craft beer world snapped back and said, fuck you. You know what? You want to do that? We're going to brew the shit that you brew, and we're going to brew it better.
Right.
Yeah.
And they started doing that, and now all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, this stuff can not taste like piss. This is awesome.
You can brew a beer that actually tastes good. What?
Yeah, you can brew a pilsner.
A pilsner that actually tastes good. Yeah.
And I really think that snapback of the craft beer world against big beer is what has driven this as people start discovering this, going, this is really, really good. I can buy a case of this, bring it to the barbecue, and actually, you know, the good old boys who are watching NASCAR will actually enjoy this.
Right.
You know, and I really think that's gone a long way to driving this lager pilsner renaissance in the U.S. So it's one of the main reasons we chose U.S. brewed lagers, and also because Johnny and I we're kind of running out of ideas for the top threes. So,
yeah, there's still a few in the hopper,
we got a few in the hopper.
So, but yeah, top three. So tonight, obviously, and I'll tell you, Steve, because anybody that's watched the show before, or listens to it before, they know we picked three, right, for two reasons. One, when we first started doing the show, for the first couple months we did the show.
It was lonely.
It was just the two of us. So we're paying homage to 1933. 33, you know, the repeal of Prohibition. In 33, there's two threes, two top threes. So there you go. So it was two of us. And also, a top 10 list would take too long. Because with the top three, Dave and I usually do 4 or 5 or 6 anyway. But
sometimes 10.
But anyway, so yeah. So tonight's top three list is top 3 favorite U.S. brewed lagers. And we'll make the footnote, like we always do, other than Ghost Talk Brewing lagers.
Other than the guests, yes.
Other than the guests. So there you go. So
does it include pilsners as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Any lagers. Pilsner's a lager. So there you go.
Schwartz beers, Baltic porters.
Any lager, anything that can be lagered.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was specifically lager.
No. Just anything that's a lager. A pilsner.
Okay.
All pilsners are lagers. So have at it.
Correct.
So Steve, kick us off. You're the guest tonight, so you go first.
All right. So, all right. it's hard for me to come up with a top three because it's like there's so many choices, especially in craft beer. But I'll tell you about three Pilsner's lagers that I tried very recently that are fantastic. First, this one.
God, yeah.
Palatine Fields. This is amazing beer. So apparently, I'm not sure if they do with every batch, but apparently this batch was lagered 4.5 months.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah, and
That is a commitment.
That's a pretty long lagering.
That is a commitment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I read this on like their Instagram or something like that. How it was aged for 15 weeks or 14 weeks or something like that. And so I have a buddy of mine who lives up that way and wound up getting me a 4-pack. And this is everything that it's they say it is. It's a really nice lager.
And that's a German style pils.
Yes, the German style pills, and the second one. So maybe a month or two ago, me and a couple of the guys from GoSock, we took a trip up to EQ, and I had their South Street pills at Equilibrium, a side pour, a slow pour. That was I just had it in the tap room, but that was really nice. It really reminded me of the slow pours at Bierstadt, because that's the first time I ever had one was at Bierstadt. But
Gotcha.
this
you need to get a human robot then.
Yeah, I do. It's much closer. It definitely.
It's a little closer than Bierstadt to New York.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But yeah, I've been meaning to get down there. Like I said, I mean, I talked to those guys, about coming down to the Log Jamming Festival. So
Sure.
I think me and a couple of the guys from Ghost are going to go down there. Not to pour, but we're going to go down there and hang out with those guys and just drink some lagers that weekend. And then
But before you move on, I love to hear that EQ has got themselves a great lager out there, because talk about just the hazies. They pump out a lot of hazies. They pump out a lot of sours.
That's great.
And the fact that they're going that route as well. That's encouraging.
I went there and I don't think I drank any hazies. I think I just drank that Pilsner, and they had some photo age stuff, and I did drink one of those like crazy stouts, some bottle aged stout, some barrel aged pastry stout, but other than that, I think I just drank the Pilsner for most of the day.
What I love about their hazies is they're not like those soft hazies. They're still, the hops are going to punch you in the face.
Sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, and then the last thing. So I had a list here because I knew about this top three, and it was down to two. One was
mention them both.
Give the honorable mention first.
Yes.
Whatever one you didn't pick, give that the honorable mention.
So unfortunately, honorable mention is going to be from Human Robot. It's very hard to decide on this. That's the aged lager, aged hop lager. I think it's Reifenhof. It's like something. I got the can right here.
Sounds close.
It's.
I'm not sure I had that when I was there.
Yeah. Reifenhof.
Yeah, it's really it's amazing. It's amazing beer. And then the one that's going to take the winner is Marie by Hill Farmstead, a German house. So Hill Farmstead is like making probably the best lagers in the world, or some of them. So unfortunately, Human Robot had to take honorable mention to Hill Farmstead.
Hey, there's no shame in taking honorable mention to Hill Farmstead.
Absolutely not.
But there really is no honorable. They're all making great lagers, and they're all these breweries like Suarez, Hill Farmstead, Humor Bar, they're like very inspirational to me as well. And the direction we're going with this lager tank, and like this they're like doing what I want to do, and I have a lot of respect for these guys. And that Marie is just a classic. It's a beautiful German Helles lager. It's like the pinnacle of that style.
Nice. Cool. All right, Samurai, what are yours?
Can I reach my show and tell? Maybe not. So I'm going to break it down to kind of spot and into different styles.
Of course you are.
The reason
yes.
You know this. I like to categorize stuff.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the whole thing about creativity is you limit choices to create creativity. But it's neither here nor there. So you heard earlier, I'm learning Italian. The reason I'm learning Italian, trying to learn Italian, is going to Italy in April. So I've been drinking a lot of Italian pilsners.
Those are good.
Yes. And right now, my favorite that I am crushing on is Frustis from Carton. I mean, I think they nailed the style. It's got every bit of what you expect from an Italian Pilsner. So we're going to put that out there. As John mentioned earlier, him and I are both Schwarzbier and Tomave Pivo whores. So I got to throw Schwarzbier in there. Mm-hmm. And when Carrie and I went up to Maine, one of our stops on the way back was in Massachusetts, not too far from the New Hampshire border, a brewery called Brewery Sylvaticus. And they are putting out.
And he's been on the show.
And they've been on the show. And their Oblivion, their Schwarzbier, is absolutely fantastic. I just love that beer. Fell in love with that beer. I wish I could get more of that beer.
We got to get in touch with him and find out when he's brewing it again, and just go up and pick up a couple of cases of it.
Yeah, a day run up to the New Hampshire border.
Well, no. I mean, we'll stay one night and hit a couple other things on the way up and back. But
yeah, like the brewery.
The end game is getting up to him. So
the brewery on your hat.
What's that? What's the brewery on my hat?
That'd be Night Shift. John's favorite brewery, Massachusetts.
Yes, is correct.
But when I go to the number one, these are both Czech lagers because I can't even give one an honorable mention and the other one the crown because they're just I call it a tie. I never thought that when I went to Bunker Brewing in Portland and had the machine. Mm-hmm. Well, it's just machine, right? It's just machine. Yeah. Machine, and their Czech lager that I would never find anything that came close to it in the country until I had checked 10 degrees at Human Robot. And again, that oh my God, that beer.
It really is nice, man. They're doing a great they're just doing great lagers down there.
John told me earlier he hit a few other breweries after he went there, and he could have just forsaken those two breweries and stayed another couple hours there.
Yeah, in respect to the other three breweries that we hit after we left there, and there was nothing wrong with them, mind you. But I won't say their names. But it would have been just as good, if not maybe even a little bit better of a day, had we just stayed at Human Robot for another 2 or 3 hours and just came home.
Yeah, and just kept sucking down. Check 10%, the Tomave Pivo 15, whatever. They're putting.
And mind you, a little of that was not necessarily the liquid; it was the experience because a lot of things were just shit shows.
The other places.
We'll leave that alone. So, but yeah, so there you go.
So those are my top.
So your top 3,
4.
It's so hard.
3 or.
And the thing is, and as John, as I say many times, ask us.
You don't think you're going to get the same from me? I mean, come on.
It'll. No, it might. Let's see. Give it 6 months. It may change.
Oh yeah.
Because remember, Ghost Hawk just got another lager in tank.
Right. Yeah. You know what? This is different though. Like we talk about it before. Like we did. In the Christmas show, we did our this year. We did our favorite Christmas beers again.
Yours didn't change. Before. Yours didn't change, but you are.
One of mine changed. None of yours changed.
Yes.
I think it was like I switched my honorable mention and my number 3 is what would change. So it's
And
hard
your
to.
number one will never
My number one will never change.
It's
My number one at
tradition for
Christmas.
you.
Yeah, exactly. So
Celebration will never.
absolutely, but but a list like that is a little bit more ingrained, right? And no pun intended with the word grain, but in any event, but lagers. I mean, everything is. It's what you're drinking now. So,
But more and more are coming out. So I would expect this.
It's
top
definitely
three
going to
to
change. It's going to change. It's going to change.
Especially,
maybe not all of them, but it'll be a little massaged, if you will.
Especially if I get out to Denver anytime soon.
This is true. All right. So.
And Pittsburgh.
You got to get to Pittsburgh, and let me know because we'll go together. But
yeah.
In any event, all right. So here's and never mind. I got a whole list for you. So in any event,
I know.
All right. So here's mine. And to Steve's point, and to our point, what we always say, it moves, right? So these are basically beers that I've had recently, and a couple of them I've had. Actually, only one of them I've had before. The last year, the last 6 months, 8, 9 months, whatever. But in any event, I'm going to start with my number 3 at the moment. To your best recollection, if you will. All right, it's actually going to be a beer called Dow's Folly, and it's a pre-prohibition style lager that Four River Brewing in South Portland, Maine.
Hence the shirt.
Hence the shirt. Four River brewed, and I got to tell you, it was dynamite. It was a really, really, really good, almost Vienna-like, but it had really good characteristics of a Vienna lager, but it was lighter. It's hard to describe, but it was really, really, really well brewed. So that's going to be my number 3. It's going to slot in number 3 right now. My number 2 is going to be also another one from Carton that David aforementioned Carton with the first of his is Austin 1. It's a smoked rustic lager they just did a couple months ago.
Delicious beer.
It was so good. And it's not, and I believe me, as far as smoked beers go, and, we're both in Mr. Hall's group. And
you're also a fireman, so you like sucking on
right.
embers.
I could drink a glass of smoke, right, So, but this was light. But there was enough in it to make somebody that really likes smoked lagers enjoy it. But it was still light. That it was crisp. It was clean. It was such a well brewed beer. It was really good.
Yeah, it was real well crafted.
Yeah, and then my number 1, I'm gonna have a tie too. All right, I got a tie as well. And my first one is gonna be, and it's gonna be the same 2 breweries as Dave's tie. Number 1 is gonna be Machine from Bunker. The same beer.
A fantastic beer.
It's a fantastic Czech lager. It's amazing that it's brewed in Portland, Maine. It really is. I mean, it's not so amazing that it's brewed in Portland, but it's a Czech lager. It's so good.
The thing is, they're 5 minutes away from Bissell Brothers.
They're literally. You could literally, if there was a street that went from Bunker to Bissell, because you got to go up and around, you could walk there in 5 minutes.
Yes, but you get all the hopheads that love to go to Bissell Brothers. Mm-hmm. And so when you go to Bunker, if you look, their ratings are kind of low because that's not why the people are in the area.
Everybody that's going to Bissell is saying, "Hey, we got to hit another brewery. Oh, Bunker's right here. Let's go to
it's
Bunker."
Like, you don't have hazy IPAs?
There's no hazy IPAs. They got to give lower scores here. So
yeah, but I really enjoy my time at Bunker.
Bunker's a
better
great
than
brewery.
Bissell. Yeah,
Bunker's a great brewery. Bissell's great, but Bunker for what they do. But Bunker is.
Oh yeah, no disrespect to Bissell.
None whatsoever. No.
I'm gonna open a 4th beer here.
Exactly. Of course you are. So anyway, Machine.
I had to open this.
Nice.
I started getting the.
Look at you! You went for it. All right.
No, it's ever since I brought it up. It's like I need to drink it. I need to drink it.
And my tied with Machine for my number 1 is the beer I'm drinking right now.
That's a great beer too.
It's a beautiful beer
from Human Robot. It's so good.
Is.
I had a bunch of beer at Human Robot when we were there on Saturday. I had 3 of these.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
It was this, something else, this, something else. Just it was back and forth.
Imagine if they put that into it.
I had this, then I had the Keller, then I had this again, then I had the Czech 10. Then I had 2 milk tubes in there, and then I had this again. I wasn't driving
because it's Czech 10. It's Czech 10 that's in the milk tubes, right?
Czech 10's in the milk tube. Yeah.
Imagine Tamabe 13 in the milk tubes.
Oh. We should ask them to do that.
We need to ask them.
We should do that. We should really do that. We should go down there and do that. So there's my list. There you go. So, all right.
Yeah, we need to get there together.
Yeah, we need to go.
When are you going, Steve?
As soon as I can. The tap room is
ASAP.
pretty busy, but
Yeah.
as soon as I can, I will definitely be there. I promise.
Let us know. Maybe we'll row down with you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. Show up. Why not? So, all right. Question for you, and this is an important question. I've been really meaning to ask you this all night, Steve.
Okay.
When you do walk across the street to Rutt's Hut, what's your typical order?
So I get, depending on my mood, either Rippers or Wellers. I mean, it's either one of those two, and I always get them.
How many though?
At least 2, maybe 3.
Okay.
Always at least 3 for me.
Yeah, I gotta have 3, and I usually get another one after the third.
Because I do get fries on the side. I get fries on the side as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I always get like a cup of chili because they won't put the chili on the dog.
No. You got to get the cup and put it on.
Yeah, so you get the cup. I put chili and mustard on the dogs and eat them. That's my go-to.
Very nice. Now, do you use the relish at all?
No.
The relish scares me a little bit.
I'm not opposed to the relish. I've tried it before and like it's good, but my usual go-to is chili and mustard, and that's it.
Well, what I do is, like I say, I get my 3. I get a cup of chili. I get onion rings because the onion rings are nuts.
Onion rings are good. Yeah.
So good. But I get 3. I put relish on 2, and I put chili and mustard on 1. I eat the rest. I eat a little bit more of the mustard, and I usually, if I'm there for a while, I'm having a couple beers, and I'm hungry. It's not just like a stop in. Hey, I'm here. I gotta grab a dog. If I'm actually going there for a meal, I usually wind up, and I'll admit it, I usually wind up getting another 2. I put the last of the chili on 1 and another relish dog. So
might as well.
The only thing about the relish, it scares me a little bit because sometimes you got to take that spoon and break the crust.
No. Yeah, you know what? Ask for another jar of relish.
Actually, the last time we were there,
they have plenty. Trust me. Just get a different one.
Last time we were there, the relish was fresh.
Yeah.
So rather than 2 with mustard, 1 with relish, it was 2 with relish, 1 with mustard.
There you go.
So, but I've not done the cup of chili yet. I need to do that.
You definitely need to do that.
Yeah,
and
definitely need to
what I always do too is whenever we're having barbecues down here, because we're down in Monmouth County.
You get the
sure. A gentleman by the name of Jack stops at Rutt's Hut and picks up a quart of the relish.
Jack would be
and a quart of the chili and brings it down with him. So
Jack would be Johnny's dad.
Yeah, and then we grill the dogs and put the relish in the
and the dogs are Thuman's.
Thuman's dogs, got to be Thuman's dogs, because that's the dogs that they deep fry at Rutt's Hut is Thuman dogs. So,
I gotta say, Steve, I love this damn beer.
Yeah, it's good beer.
It's good.
It's good beer.
I have a can left in my fridge. I'm waiting to crack it open for a special occasion.
And it might be a mind fuck from your graphics, but the nut character, the nut brown ale, comes off as I'm walking through and crunching fallen leaves.
There you go.
It's just,
and it's a different kind of nut character than is in Rocky Mountain Oyster Stout.
Oh, different type of nut.
Different type of nut.
Different type of nut. These nuts can come in singles.
There you go. Well, I mean, some of the others can come in singles too. It depends on whatever fight the bull was in. So,
yes.
But anyway, cool. You know what I want to ask you? Let's talk about this. Anybody listening to the podcast and anybody watching right now, how far out is your distro right now? Where are you getting the beer out to? Off-prem and on-prem.
So right now our distro, like we're as far as like Edison, Metuchen area, and we're getting down into like Asbury Park and more like that area like this summer coming up.
Sure. That's a good area down there, by Asbury Park.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I have a lot of friends in Asbury, and I really want to get my product out there. Right now, we're on tap in over probably 100 bars and restaurants. We're moving canned products to like maybe 50, 60 liquor stores, and growing, of course. And it's we're always just pushing it and like getting more stuff out there. Like I said, I mean, I run the tap room, so that is it's 7 days a week. It's a nonstop thing. So in some ways, I'm a little disconnected from the distro. The ins and outs, the day to day of the distro, I'm a little disconnected from. Because I have so much going on my end.
Sure.
Not only just running the tap room, I do all the branding, all the graphic design, all
Of
the
course.
social media. I have so much on my plate that like I can't really pay attention to what's going on.
No, of course not.
I got a bone. I got a bone to pick.
I wasn't. I just
Steve?
before Dave's bone. Before Dave's bone. I wasn't.
Excuse me. Rephrase it.
Before
rephrase
Dave's
that.
bone that he has to pick with you.
Thank you.
There you go. All right. So he's drinking a nut brown ale and he has a bone. All right. So there you
Yeah.
go. Anyway, there you go. So no, I was going to say is I wasn't looking for actual places that people can go get your beer other than your tap room. Just a distro area. Obviously, it's up to them.
Yeah.
Go
So
find it,
so
but-
definitely we're all over North Jersey.
Mhm.
We're creeping into Central for sure. New Brunswick. We just opened a couple of accounts in New Brunswick recently. So we're trying to before we go out of state, we want to do most of New Jersey. We want to cover the state before we go out of state. So that's the goal with us for our distribution right now.
How big is your brew house? How big of batches are you brewing now?
We have a 15 barrel. Although when it comes down to it, we're really brewing like 14 barrel batches because the equipment that we got is not as efficient as it should be. We got it from a Chinese.
Well, it depends on your grain bill and everything else, right?
Yeah,
exactly. And your hops and everything else. So you're not going to yield 15 barrels out of a 15 barrel batch.
Exactly. We wind up like yielding 14 barrels per brew. And we double batch our Apex and lager, so we make it like 28 barrels of those at a clip. But all our single batches, the one-offs, or the seasonals are like 14 barrels, and that's a lot of beer. I mean, that's getting a lot of distro. It's
sure.
We have a tap room, as well, and that we're making a lot of beer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good for you. Good. Congratulations. That's getting those other accounts and moving further south in Jersey. That's awesome. And that's the way to do it too. Finish. Get throughout the state, and then before you.
That's the goal.
Because you're self-distributing too, right? I mean,
of course, in New Jersey we could do that. So
right.
Nothing. So we just have a driver and a van, and he's out like 5 days a week with kegs and cases and just driving out. It's like the Ghost Hawk ferry, just delivering all these like like a magical ferry. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I love to see it.
So
awesome.
Before we get to my bone to pick, you've added the lager.
Before we get to Dave's bone.
Oh, I'm not letting that go. You've added the lager tank. Do you have any other plans for expansion?
We do, but nothing that we could talk about yet because it depends on some other factors. But we definitely want to at some point get some additional storage space, possibly additional production space. But the number of factors that it depends on. So nothing I really go into detail because there isn't much detail there. There's plans for it, but it's all depending on when things come available and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, definitely plans for expansion when we could do it. We definitely want to get more cold storage, so we could can more and store cans for for distro and for tap room. At some point we want to get more fermenters so we can make more more batches of beer. But all in good time. We still have our hands full for sure, but we're also looking ahead too. So
sure.
Definitely in the plans.
Cool.
So you obviously have quite a few chubbier guys that come.
Is this your bone?
This is the bone to pick.
This is a bone to pick.
you must have some chubbier guys that come to it, because I really wanted to walk away on Sunday with a Ghost Hawk. Sure. You're all out of 2XL at the brewery.
Everybody's out of them.
Yeah.
So you got to remember, beer geeks are chubby geeks.
I usually get a decent amount of like 2X and 3, and even 3X. But so right now, like I have all new spring merch like on the in the works. So unfortunately, most of the merch we have is like from last year, and like I'm just trying to get rid of it. So like in the next month, I have like our anniversary merch. I have all spring merch coming out. So we'll have a re-up very soon. So apologies on that.
No need to apologize, because Dave, I will point this out to you, Dave. Okay, it's not just Ghost Hawk; it's everywhere.
I know.
To the point where you and I were actually sitting in a brewery together in Maine in August, and there was one 2X shirt left, and I took it before you did. So
he took before I did. Sons to bitch, just like the stick alta.
Just like the stick alt.
Yeah, the night before. Yeah, right. It was. You ever been up to Portland, Steve? Portland, Maine.
Maine. I don't think I've been to Portland. I have been to Maine like many years ago, but I don't think I was actually in Portland itself.
Just a quick story. You got to go to Portland. I mean, if you're going, you got to get to Portland. There's no even an if for it. Just you got to go to Portland. But
cool.
And people have heard the story before. We were at Navarrez. Big craft beer bar, great craft beer bar in not
in my estimation
in Old Town. No. I've been there a few times before. It was his first trip, and
COVID had destroyed,
depleted their bottle list, which is amazing, right? So everything he's ordering on the bottle list,
we're out of that.
And the server's going back and forth. We're out. I ordered a Urige stick of alt, and he says, "Oh, I should have just went with that." She comes back. They're out of that one. It was like his fifth choice or whatever. And as she's saying that, she brings me over my Urige, right? Puts it down. He says, I'm just going to have a Urige stick of alt. She goes in the back. That was the last one.
I was not happy.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I wound up with like some really ghetto chicken place after that.
You did. You had some good fried chicken before you went back to your Airbnb.
The chicken was great, like they say.
No, it's a New York Chicken Factory or New York Chicken Company or something like that. It's good chicken. It is.
But the saying is, the chicken, the higher the crime rate in an area, the better the chicken wings.
And Portland's not that.
There's only few areas.
There's not. Yeah. So in other words,
we found it.
There you go.
Yeah, we found it.
There you go. So anyway.
And cool. Living in Rhode Island, I can really attest to that.
There you go. So anyway, any events, any plans this month, next month, this year?
You get musicians in. You had a really good one on Sunday.
On Sunday?
Yeah.
I don't have music on Sunday.
See that? He wasn't even aware. It was an impromptu. He just showed up with a guitar and played. Steve didn't even know.
Maybe if that's the case, because I do have live music on Saturdays. But nothing on Sunday.
No, there was someone in on Sunday.
Huh?
It was of his own. It was of his own accord. He just
accord is a pun there. It was like a ninja guitar ringing.
There you go.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I don't know what goes on while I'm up there. But yeah, so
now you do. There you go.
Yeah. So this month, actually this Thursday, I have a record pop up. So I work with these guys who have a vinyl record pop-ups. So they don't have a brick and mortar location.
And you got vinyl right over your left shoulder, don't you?
What's that?
You got vinyl right over your left shoulder, though.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
There you
go. So there you go. I think it's on. Yeah. Yeah. So they come like every couple months, and they set up a area in the back, and they have crates of used records, and they have a great selection. That's going to be really fun. Always a good time when those guys come down. And then on St. Patrick's Day, which is Thursday, the following Thursday.
Following Thursday.
Yeah. I don't do like the weekend, or the weekend before or whatever. I do St. Patrick's Day on the day of
On the day.
Day of St. Patrick's. Like, yeah, you got it. Right? You
that's
got it.
you
can have an extended celebration, either pre or post or whatever, but you got to do something that day. So
correct.
I'll be in Fort Lauderdale.
That day, we're opening the tap room up early, 2:00 on Thursday the 17th. I have a band planned from 5 to 8. I got a bagpiper coming.
I was going to say, are there bagpipes? There better be bagpipes.
Oh yeah, and we're just gonna rip it up, and it's like my favorite holiday. So, we're just gonna do it big, We want to do the same thing last year, but last year the tap room was still not open. We were just doing outside seating. So this year is like full force, and we're doing it big.
Nice.
It's funny because Carrie was talking about going to Ireland for St. Patrick's Day. I'm like, you're going to be disappointed. They don't celebrate it the way we celebrate.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, no.
And I will attest to that. I was just this past Sunday. I attended the largest St. Patrick's Day parade in the state of New Jersey. It's also the first St. Patrick's Day parade in the state of New Jersey. It's right here. It was a block away from me, right here in Belmar. Huge parade. And great. Yeah, it's awesome. We went up there, watched the parade. We had a couple cups of coffee. A little bit of Jameson's in it.
A little bit,
maybe.
Whole lot of Jameson's in it.
and then back for some Irish beef stew and corned beef and cabbage that I prepared. And and I think we wrapped up. We started the day with bagels at 9. We started drinking at 11, and we wrapped up the day at 2:30 a.m. Nice. So it was a good day.
That's a good day.
Yeah.
It's a good day.
Yeah, you can't say you drunk all day unless you start in the morning.
You can't say you drank all day unless you start in the morning. And
just
finish
one
in the morning.
more thing I want to mention.
Sure,
we have our anniversary
do.
coming up in 420 is our anniversary.
That's an interesting anniversary.
That's our actual anniversary date. So we're having a anniversary.
Now, admit it. You could have opened on the 19th, right? But you waited an extra day.
No, 19th was a Friday. I wanted to do Saturday, and that year happened to be the 20th. It's like
crap. I will be in Italy. Damn it.
Yeah, but so we're doing this celebration the 23rd. That's Saturday. We have
I will be back. I'll be back then.
Yeah, we're gonna have like food trucks out in the parking lot. Basically, we're gonna shut the whole parking lot down. We're gonna have tables and tents outside. Vendors. We'll have like all kind of craft vendors, food trucks, live music outside. Should be a good time.
What's the date?
For our 3 years.
4/23.
April 23rd. Saturday.
April 23rd.
Have you alerted Ruts Hut that we're just gonna all park in their parking lot?
I'm obligated to let everyone know, do not park in Ruts parking lot. That's all I can say about that.
Well, you park all the way at the far fence, go in and get a couple of rippers first, and then just walk across the street.
No, do not do that. Do not do that unless you actually go in and buy at least 7 dogs.
Yeah,
for your car,
of course.
For the people that are in your car, at least 7.
Oh, I meant each. I meant like
7 each.
If you show, no,
7 each.
I said a couple. So if
you and I
with
will
4 people,
you
me and you would be 8 dogs, just the 2 of us. But
yeah, no, that would be 16 dogs between the 2 of us.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, guys.
Folks,
my dog is like whining to go out. He really needs to go out. I apologize. I got to run.
No. We were just about to sign off, but just stay on for 1 second.
No, Steve. Okay, don't log off. Let John go through the outro. Take whiskey out. Come back.
Leave your computer on. Go take whiskey out. Come back. We'll be done, and we'll talk for a minute.
Oh yeah, cool.
All right.
We'll be off the air. So before you leave, thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you guys so much. This is awesome, man.
This is your goodbye to the viewers,
right?
But we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you afterwards.
We'll talk to you when you get back from taking whiskey out. You
Thanks,
got
guys.
it. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. All right.
Come on.
And on that note, we'll wrap up today. Anything you want to add, Samurai?
This is a damn good beer.
It's that one.
So
and so's this. This is a damn good beer.
Lee's Turn held up very, very well.
Right.
And it's my favorite season is fall.
As is mine. Well, actually, you know what? I mean, my favorite season. This is funny because my favorite season was always fall. Was fall, right?
Because of football for you.
Of course, and still is. It still is. But spring is kind of making a kind of push lately.
Really?
But it's always been baseball related, and this year, and I'm not
Sucks.
going to get into sports. But that's
Not
tomorrow
again.
night. Anybody want
Not
to talk
again.
about that? It's tomorrow night. And I'm going to go off on a fucking rant with these idiots on both sides.
Yeah.
But in any event, if we don't have
Selfish
baseball in
assholes.
April, it's not going to be the same this year for me. So in any event,
But no, Leaves Turn.
Mhm.
Fall's always been my favorite season.
Mhm.
And just drinking this beer, like I said, Nut Brown Ale has a very specific character to
Sure.
it, right?
of course,
There is that nuttiness to it. That's why they call it Nut Brown Ale.
Sure.
It's not because there's nuts in it. It's not like the brewer's gone and teabagged the kettle.
with actual legumes.
Legumes. there's no nuts in this.
Right.
Being from a tree or underground
It's all from the malt. So
or off a mammal. But the nut character, like I said earlier,
It's
is
really nice.
that of dried leaves.
absolutely.
This screams fall, and I'm sitting here in the calendario says March.
Right.
So, and I'm tasting brown, orange, and
It's a beautiful thing.
yellow leaves.
It's a beautiful thing. So
It's a beautiful thing.
all right. Well, on that note, let's wrap it up for today.
Go through the
talk-
steel, Johnny.
We'll talk more next week. And remember, anybody listening, follow. We're going to put together a different page and a couple of hashtags for the whole Spite and Dival thing. So, anyway, on that note, we'll wrap the show up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast. What?
Okay.
Oh, okay. In case you didn't know.
I didn't.
There you go. All right. Yes, you did. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night around 6:30 Eastern Time. Around 6:30 Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio
We
podcast,
stretch that word.
you
around.
can. Well, it depends. But and those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, and iHeartRadio as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you'll never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we will talk to you soon, folks. Have a good one. Cheers.
Hey, bye, everybody.